Okay, so I didn't get water. I got tea. I forgot that I already had tea. So, the whole thing of, the fear of adding onto my computer is screwing something up in the process. I've, as a kid, I used to take things apart or whatever, and, it was one of those things, you take it apart, you look at it, and it's like, I have no idea what any of this stuff does. Now it's broken because I took it apart and I didn't know where anything was. Well, I took apart my PC. I took pictures, kept track of everything, had little bags, and kept each pieces that were together and all that junk or whatever. And I cleaned it out. And it was, number one, it was super freaking dusty. I mean, I've had this thing for who knows how long. And, but I put it back together. And, yeah. So now that's not a fear, I've dealt with it. So I know how I'm going to do it if I add something in there. Because I've been watching videos, I have an idea of what, not everything, but most of the stuff is in there. And since it is such bare bones, it's not a jumbled mess of wires like some people's are or whatever. If I had like a fully done PC and I wanted to add to it, I would probably look at it and say, that's not happening, Anyway, the whole thing was that I have a video on my laptop that is going to be called I Don't Understand Social Media, or something along those lines. I can't remember. And it's been a while, when I was recording it or whatever type thing. And here's the thing. I like skits and stuff, but I'm just not an actor. And I struggle with, I'm still learning how to edit. I use Shotcut. If anybody has any, knowledge of YouTube channels that use Shotcut that I should check out, that would be great. But it's whatever. I use Shotcut. It does what I need, it's pretty, I like it enough. It's free. That's what it all comes down to. It's free. And I also edit on my phone. And it's one of those things where it has like a watermark at the end. And what I do is, like with the last clip or whatever, I just let it extend the time. And then in my phone editor, whenever I save it, I just cut out that last bit. I win. But it works. It's really easy to do. It's nothing advanced or whatever. Like the video that I made, that I uploaded, 2 weeks ago or whatever, after I came from Colorado. That Colorado video was edited on there. I just did it very simply. No introductions or anything. I was just like, I need to get something out there. Here, let me slap this together. It's on YouTube. Just so that something's out here. Now you may be like, quality over quantity. But if there is no quantity whatsoever, then it's quantity over quality, You gotta know. This tea sucks. Anyway. I live in Texas, so sweet tea is a whole thing. Oh my gosh, I drink a lot of sweet tea. Yeah. How are you doing? There we go. Okay, so I might as well talk about my wall. Let's grab you. Okay. So of course we got this dry erase thing that we're waiting for to dry. The dry erase part is dry. Okay. We're just doing these borders or whatever. I recently got GTA 5. It's been okay. Wait, GTA. Is it GTA 5? I don't know why my brain. Right, it is GTA 5. I don't know why but it's a shame that I haven't played it sooner is what I'm trying to say. It's actually kind of insane that I'm just now getting GTA. But whatever, it's cool. Whatever. Anyway, so I was like, why not stick the GTA map on here? I'm glad that they keep, giving us that. I stuck this thing here because I don't know what else. This is, did I talk about all this? I probably did. I don't know what I talk about anymore. I guess I could talk about my rock collection. I've got nothing else to do. I don't know what any of these rocks are, but I've always collected rocks. Oh no, this is the combination of Jenga and Tumbling Tower. It's just all of it. I guess I could talk. My phone's right there. That's what laptop. I've got a computer right here. Let's turn it on. So I guess I'll talk about, some of the things that I'm working on as far as incomplete videos that may or may not. So of course we got that video that I was talking about. The social media, I don't understand it. It's a dumb video that I guess I'll finish today. Since I'm making this video right here, I'm gotta hold myself accountable for even mentioning that video, I have a video that's been in the works even longer. I've recorded some of the footage, but I need to actually get down to making the video. Like, I recorded an introduction and all that junk. And I've had the stuff together that I need to make that video for a while. I'd say almost a year. The stuff's just been sitting there, the footage and all that junk. But the video is turning my hand into an anime girl. And the whole thing is that's gonna take... I could do it in a day, but that would have to give me a whole day of recording. And, I have other people that live in this house other than me. I want to add, soundproofing to my walls because, number one, that would make me able to actually record videos while other people are here. And number two, dang on thing. Look how tall my ceiling is. So I'm right here, right? Right here. And my ceiling is way up there, Like it's... I have I think it's a 6-foot ladder. I might be wrong. It might be 7 or 8 foot. But that ladder, if I stood on that, I would not be able to touch the ceiling all the way right here. And that's because in my living room, the ceiling's even taller. And that's the funny thing. We don't have much money or whatever. We're not rich people or whatever. We live in the suburbs or whatever. And I don't know what the designers were thinking, because, okay, this is a neighborhood where a lot of poor people live. And all of them come to our house and they're like, man, you've got a big house. And it's just like, when your house is big up, you don't have a big house. I don't know why they made the house big up. It's actually pointless space. It's a waste of building materials, number one. It makes our house look more open, but it doesn't actually add any space. Like, we can't do anything with that space. I mean, a while ago, my dad put up a decoration that we got that used to be in my grandma's house before she died or whatever. And that thing, because we had a clock on one wall and that decoration was around the same size or whatever type thing, we were going to put it on the opposite side of it, I guess, kind of symmetry type thing or whatever. And number one, this thing was heavy and my dad was doing it. My dad is 6 foot tall, standing on the ladder. And getting it to be in the right spot, scratch that. Just putting it on the wall. Like, I mean, look at my room. I've got stuff all the way around me, and then up there it's just blank space. What am I mean, you gotta have, you almost have to have professionals to put stuff up there. I just don't understand. And it's funny because, again, we live in a, all the houses in our neighborhood, like, I go over to other people's houses, and it has the exact same layout as our house. Except, the ceiling's not a million times tall, and it's like, why would you make houses that have the same layout, and then make one of them shoot to the sky? It's not like it's enough space to have a second floor. So much so that when I was a little kid, my dad always talked about, it was, just about building a second floor and having it as a space for all the kids to leave them the hell alone, Because, we'd play video games in the living room or whatever with our friends, and it's just like, oh, the kids are taking the TV again, so why don't we build this whole thing? But, it was just always something that was said and not even thought of much. One of these days, I want to mess with live streaming, but live streaming would be a lot like stage performing, if you know what I mean. Like, people can respond in real time, and I would have so much anxiety, kind of thing, or whatever. But I do want to do it. I don't know how to go about it. Like, here's the biggest thing. I don't even know what I would live stream. I guess I could just live stream me talking. I don't really want to live stream myself playing video games because I just don't want to. Video games are something that it's like, I don't know. Video games are just something that I don't want to share, if you know what I mean. Like, I'll talk about video games, but the process of playing a video game is it's something relaxing that, it's just not. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't want to make video games stressful, is the whole thing. Video games are not stressful for me. Video games, well, some of them are. Actually, a lot of my life, I avoided playing video games for very long amounts of time because I had anger issues, and I would probably break the game system, like that kind of anger issues. I've mellowed out more, but it was not good stuff. Anyway, to put things simple. But, as I've gotten older, I've been trying to bring video games back into my world or whatever type thing. What's something to talk about? I guess I've got, since we're on the topic of games, I've got one game in here, and I've got a couple of movies that I wanted to show my friend. My friend, he doesn't movies, like, and I've had a couple of friends like that. Like, I'm a huge movie nerd, and I've written a few videos that I've wanted to talk about, movies or whatever, but I don't know how to articulate myself, kind of thing, and writing it down. It's just so much. Reviews are something that would be stressful for me to make as a video, because in my mind, the person needs to be educated and has to have a bunch of thought. Like, I watch a lot of, videos of people just talking about movies because I'm a movie nerd and all that shit. And I want someone who's knowledgeable, I put movies high. I regard movies highly, Like, I have a large passion for them, and my knowledge doesn't match that passion in some ways. And in a lot of ways, you know, I've talked to many people about movies, and they're just like, man, you know so much, da, da, da. It's like, yeah, I probably have a good amount of knowledge, but I don't trust that knowledge, you know? That's why I don't make informative videos, because I don't trust my own knowledge, you know? I'm someone who likes people to not spout bullshit. And I'm someone who I knowingly, whenever I talk to people in normal, regular life, spouts bullshit that they don't know what they're talking about all the time, you know? It's like, it's fine in conversation, you know, both of you are probably spouting bullshit because everybody can't know everything at the same time. But when you're online and you have to present that to multiple people, you better know your shit, is my whole thing. Like, you know? Anyway, we got Tales of Vesperia, which is one of my favorite games I've ever played. I love this game. It was one of those games that me and my brother, we played it. That's a great thing about it. Multiplayer games. Somebody bring them back, okay? I have a brother. Many people have siblings. I don't want to play with people online. I want to play with my fucking brother. So give me fucking multiplayer games. Give me my split screen shit. This isn't even split screen. Okay? It's only multiplayer when you're fighting. But shut up. Okay? Come on, give us multiplayer back, okay? I miss it. Like, my best memories as a kid are playing Halo at my cousin's house when everybody can take turns switching out controllers and play all together. Sure, split screen is a pain, but there's gotta be someone out there, like there are a few games that don't have split screen, or they do shit, you know, like the Lego games. The way the Lego games, you know, they turn into split screen when you spread apart. That's cool and all that junk or whatever type thing. But there's gotta be there's always something. You know, series of unfortunate events. Always something. Somebody's got to figure out a great way for multiplayer like that. Not everybody has a freaking computer. I'd say that's the whole thing, you know. I was watching a video recently and there was someone talking about how, you know, if someone had told them that it would turn into console gaming and not PC gaming, that everybody would have consoles, whatever, they'd take this crazy. But it only makes sense. Okay? It does. It just makes sense. I don't need to explain myself. You guys know why it makes sense. You know why people play on freaking consoles. Computers, number one, are used by multiple people in the family type thing. Like, parents play parents don't play consoles as much. I mean, nowadays people do, but, you know, in the earlier days of video games, you know, parents weren't playing many video games. Some of them were. They're called weirdos. I'm joking. So, that, you know, getting a console for the kid, that allowed them to, number one, it allows them to play a large amount of games compared to a computer where most people, you know, they don't have crazy storage. You can only have like a few games on the computer at once type thing. And, you know, a lot of parents would have other junk on there. Again, I'm talking out of my ass because I was born in 2001. Not that I don't know a lot of the history bullshit, whatever. Turned on my computer, but I'm not even using it. Okay, let's talk about movies. Let's stop talking about stuff I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I want split screen. That's all I've got to say. Okay, we got The Green Mile. We got our good old Tom Hanks and Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell. That guy. You ever seen Moon? Moon? That's a good movie. That's one of my favorites. We got Buckaroo Banzai. Yay! John Lithgow and Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, great movie. Which my friend has not watched these two yet because I gave him the choices of movies to watch. One of them was A Beautiful Mind. We watched A Beautiful Mind. Like, we ended up just talking like 90% through the movie, so, which, that's not a movie you should be talking through, but it happened, you know. We got Push. Now, Push was my favorite movie as a kid. I loved the crap out of this movie. Yeah. And then we have The Men Who Stare at Goats. Good movie. Interesting movie. The history on it, that it's about, the history that it's about, interesting. I would recommend looking up the movie, maybe watching it, but actually looking up, you know, the history that the movie is about. Because, you know, knowledge. Okay, our computer is up. Let's, sure. Okay. We just got junk everywhere. Okay. And the waiting game begins. Okay. Okay, so I have 2 documents titled like video ideas or whatever. One of them is a raw list, and another is a more clean list or whatever. Like, I copied and pasted and eliminated some stuff just to make it simpler, because one list actually has me, you know, writing little bits of script into it, and the other one doesn't. So let's come on. Come on, don't. There we go. Okay, so video ideas. We'll go through the raw list because it has everything. I don't remember what I took out, because I know I took out a few ideas with the other list. So we've got one that's fashion shit from someone that doesn't know about fashion. So it would be basically a video of me talking about fashion, but that's again just an idea out there. I probably won't make it, because stop popping shit up. I don't care, Grammarly. I had Maisie Mandy, whatever, which was an idea for just a skit with an incredibly lazy person. Okay, one of the videos, I might as well just put it in here now. Let's just turn this into a freaking hour-long bullshit video. Actually, let's make this a night podcast. You know, that works. Most of those videos are like 30 minutes long, but fuck it. You know, I'm not gonna edit this video. This is too much shit. I'm just spewing nonsense while my wall dries. So I wanted to talk about some genres that I feel are underutilized. Ironically, the first thing that I put on here is a genre that is overutilized, and that is Westerns. I love Western movies. And while the genre, of course, was oversaturated for years and years and years, and it was basically the only thing you could watch on TV, and it's a good thing that people stopped making so many Westerns, but at the same time, the genre shouldn't have just been killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should have been halted, but, you know, a few people should have been allowed. What did I write? I wrote some script stuff. I might as well read it now, because how else will it get into the world? This video is probably not going to be made. I love me a good Western, but they aren't made anymore unless it's self-aware or parody. That's a lie, but that's a whatever. There was a time when all you could watch was Westerns, so the market was completely oversaturated. Then after enough was enough, we collectively decided we didn't want the genre anymore. In my mind, if we're not careful, another Blazing Saddles could come around and kill the isekai genre as well. So in my mind, I was like, okay, so Blazing Saddles was sort of the catalyst for destroying the Western genre. You know, people kind of stopped taking it as seriously when that movie came out. Something like that could happen with the isekai genre because it's also way oversaturated, you know, and then we could have no more isekais, which I do like the isekai genre. I mean, okay, so when Sword Art Online came out, I watched it the first season, and I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I didn't even finish the first season. I quit watching around when Yue came into the picture. I think that's her name, Yue. My brother loves Sword Art Online. He's watched all of it except for the newest season or whatever. But one of the main things, and it's why I like SAO Abridged. So early on, they established Kirito as this character who is a socially awkward, you know, I mean, there are a lot of characters like this in anime. It's not exactly a unique thing. Someone who doesn't talk to people very well, you know, socially inept, whatever type of thing. Socially awkward. That's antisocial. That's the word I was looking for. Antisocial Kirito. Except that, you know, throughout the entire show, he's spent making friends and all that shit easily. Whatever. But I think it was the first episode, whenever he gets that damn cool black coat or whatever, the trench coat. They presented it like he was gonna be acting as a villain. And the concept of a character acting as a villain but really being a good person, I thought that would be a fucking awesome idea for the whole show. And then of course I was disappointed. Enough on that. Romance. The next one was romance. Okay. So what did I write? Most every movie has a little bit of romance in it, which makes sense because a little bit of romance can really add to a story. Good romance, that is. But I'm talking about exclusively the romantic genre. Now, the romance genre, unlike other genres I'm talking about, doesn't have an issue of not being enough made, nor the issue of not enough money being put into it. No, my issue with it is the lack of creativity. Romance stories in film almost exclusively focus on being grounded in reality. Not just that, but specific realities. You know, the outliers being the Hallmark movies type thing. Maybe it's because I watch so much anime that I just want an American version of a fucking harem. I don't know, man. No, I want romance movies of any other genre. And me thinking, wait, you said you're not counting other genres with romance in it. What I'm talking about is not movies with the addition of romance, but rather movies with the addition of being any other genre. So, okay, you've got action sci-fi movies that have a romance in it or whatever, you know, romantic subplot. I want the romance to be the plot and everything else to be the subplot, if you know what I'm saying. So like the main focus would be, and I'm sick and tired of every single romance starting with the characters meeting each other or the beginning of the relationship. I want some more romances where they're an already established couple. Because you know what? Most of a relationship is after people get together. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, we got all these, you know, romantic comedies or whatever, where it's like, girl goes into a new town and she's trying to balance her work and she gets this, she meets this guy. She doesn't like him very much, but they kind of fall in love or whatever type of thing. And then she decides she's not going to go back to her old town. She's going to stay here. Well, all that is, while fucking stupid, is also, grounded in reality. I mean, why don't we take that same story and have it be, okay, so there was this girl that's from what do you call it, space station? A space station, and she moves to a colony in Mars, and she runs into, some guy or whatever. She doesn't like him at first. It's the same fucking story, but it's wrapped up in a different world. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even like romance movies. That's my whole thing. Like, I like romance. That's why I read so much fucking fan fiction. I need to stop. I have a problem. But the reason why fan fiction is so popular as compared to romance movies, not to say that romance movies, that's a big genre, okay? They're making their money. That's why they're not making better shit, But the reason there is so much fan fiction out there, other than the fact that people want to fuck anything that moves, oh no, it's fucking dumb. Oh no. I lost my train of thought with that dumb fucking comment. Is because fan fictions most of them aren't romance. They take something that isn't a romance and turn it into a romance. So people want more romance. Is what I'm saying. People want more romance in their action movies and their sci-fi and their whatever. I can only name 2 genres. What's wrong with me? That's all I have to say on that matter. That's literally what I wrote. Next one. Sci-fi, science fiction. This was the whole reason I made the list, because of sci-fi. The science fiction genre is one of my favorite genres. It is my second favorite genre. Now, I'm not talking about sci-fi fantasy. I'm not talking about, freaking, I don't know, the Avengers or some shit. Or Valerian. I'm talking about truly interesting science ideas being explored through storytelling. Cerebral, scientific stuff. Star Trek, okay? I'm sorry. That's what I want. I want more stuff like Star Trek. There's a lack of scientific sci-fi movies, is what I'm saying. And it doesn't even have to be all that scientific. Just interesting ideas. Like, I saw a movie called, and I'm pretty sure I could put it in the sci-fi genre. It's also kind of in the horror genre. It's called, I think it's Wait for Further Instructions. And the whole movie is about a guy who brings his girlfriend over to his family, and he's not getting along with the family, and the family's not liking the girlfriend because they're kind of racist or whatever type of thing. And suddenly the TV says, stand by and await further instructions. I think it's await further instructions, something like that. I have, let me look it up. It was on Netflix, and I saw it, and I really liked it. Yes, await further instructions. And it was basically dealing with this family arguing over basically whatever was on the TV, what that stuff meant. I'm not going to spoil it, but I definitely recommend watching it. Now, I could see some people not liking it, but I still would recommend it. It's just a unique idea, you know? There's a lot of good stuff in there. Anyway. So that's what I want. I want ideas. And that's what this entire list comes down to. I just want more creativity. And that's a stupid thing to ask of Hollywood, but that's what I want. I want more creativity. Let me put it this way. Give me more lack of creativity, but something else. Just give me something else, you know? I just want more, something else. And I mean for major stuff. Like, there's plenty of, you know, indie movies. I mean, IFC gives us some unique stuff. Like, the movie Super. I love the movie Super. There's definitely some issues with it, and I would recommend reading the Roger Ebert review after you finish the movie, because it freaking cracked me up when I initially got the movie. Good movie, depending on, I mean, there are definitely issues with it, but I like that movie, is what I'm saying. The house that Jack built is great. It's very, very well made. The directing, the cinematography, it's kind of humorous, it's dark. It kind of reminds me of like a horror game in the way that it does its narration, storytelling, and stuff like that. That's an artsy movie. They make some artsy stuff, and then they just make, you know, IFC is a good company, okay? But they're not a big company. Okay, so the next one I wrote was monster shit. So, okay, I'll just read this and then I'll give my thoughts like I've been doing. Let's drink some stuff. My voice is getting whiny sounding. Now, I saved my favorite genre for last, and I'm sure you've been... What the fuck does this say? Sometimes my ADHD, and I don't often get this when it comes to writing, but like something like math, it always happened. This sentence makes no fucking sense. I don't know what I was trying to write. Now, I saved my favorite genre for last, and I'm sure you've been liking When the Hell You Ate. No, When the Hell Ate You Going to Talk About Vampires. Maybe I was trying to say, I know what you're thinking, you're going to talk about vampires or whatever. Whatever. Well, here I am. My favorite genre is supernatural monster stuff. You know, vampires, werewolves, zombies, all that shit. Let's go off on a tangent and talk about zombies. Fuck you for putting zombies in the sci-fi genre. No matter how much you prepare for the zombie apocalypse, science isn't gonna make it happen, okay? Zombies are I mean, that's even why when I was creating The Zone, which I'm sure nobody watching this knows what the fuck I'm talking about, but the idea with The Zone was to have it go through multiple different apocalypses. The first thing I chose was the zombie apocalypse, but I was like, no, zombies were not created by some fucking genetic bullshit or some disease or dumb shit like that. It was created by a necromancer, because that's the only way it's plausible. Magic. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So I hate Twilight. Not with a passion. I just don't like it. I remember when it came out, the first movie, and thought, well, this is okay. I liked the mush enough to watch the second movie. Like, I was like, this is an average movie, I'll watch the second one. And I'll tell you right now, that was one of the most boring movies I've ever watched. It was, and it didn't help, of course, that I was watching on a PS2, and the PS2 was hitting its last legs or whatever type thing, and it was having a hard time reading the disc. And we pretty much had to start the movie all over again every time. So we had to fast forward, and while it was some dumb shit. But I'm telling you, that was a boring movie. In my mind. So I never watched any more of Twilight. And I've heard that it gets kind of bonkers, whatever, I've seen some reviews and stuff of the later movies. But I don't care enough to watch any more of it, because I don't care about that series, I didn't care about it initially, but I was curious enough to watch the other movie, and then it's whatever. Now, I can't exactly say why, but I've always liked vampires. But despite it being my favorite genre, I've watched very few shows. My favorite is the American version of Being Human. I tried to watch the original UK version, but it just lacked some things that made me fall in love with the American version. While now I can name a few other shows, I might as well give little reviews on it. Being Human consumed my heart, and my main criticism is that 99.9% of conflicts could have been prevented if everyone just fucking talked to each other. I'm sick and tired. Let's go on a tangent. Let's fuck that sentence. I'm sick and tired of shows that just that's driving conflict is people not telling shit to each other. Because yes, while people do keep secrets, people don't constantly lie to each other. And if you have the whole thing in a show, especially a TV show, of the person learning the lesson that, in the end I should have told them. Do not have them repeat that over and over and over and over. I get that people in real life say that they're going to stop doing something and then they do it anyway. But in TV shows, if somebody learns a lesson, they better damn sure learn a lesson, okay? Especially if it's a show that's not something like a sitcom where people aren't allowed to grow or whatever. It's part of their character to repeat the same thing over and over. If we're talking about a show where each episode bleeds into the next episode, people gotta learn their lessons, okay? Okay, calm down. That's all I had to say on that. Then we have Grimm, which I've watched some of, really liked it, and haven't made myself watch a show. I need to watch more Grimm, okay? I have access to it. At the time when I originally watched it, I didn't have access to it, so I only saw a few episodes, and I remembered really liking it and wanting to watch more, but because I couldn't watch it, now I do have access to it, and I can watch it, and I'm just not watching it. I don't know. I need to watch it. I'd probably have to start all over. I hate that. I hate starting things all over. That's usually my whole thing. If I start a show and I quit it halfway through, I don't want to come back because I'll have to rewatch it, and that just makes things worse. Then we have Charmed. I grew up watching a bunch of random episodes on TV as a kid. Like, I would get off from school or whatever, and Charmed would be on TV, and I'd watch it, and I liked it or whatever. And then, once we had Netflix, years later or whatever, Charmed was on there. So I was like, oh, okay, I'd like to watch this show. And I dug on it hugely. I watched a crap ton of it from the beginning. And then the end of season 1 happened, and I got pissed off and vowed not to watch it again, because it's funny to say I don't remember people's names. I'm so bad at remembering characters' names and shows and stuff, or whatever. But, that one cop guy, I liked that character, okay? And they just killed him off, and that pissed me off, okay? That genuinely pissed me off, because it was just like, you just took, like, a good chunk of what was kind of, you took a huge chunk of plot out, and now there's, like, how many seasons? 8 seasons of Charmed, I think? Something like that? 10 seasons? I don't know. Charmed has a lot of seasons, and I was like, Okay, if you're taking a huge thing from season 1 out of there, I'm gonna have a hard time watching the rest of the show. I watched a little bit more of season 2. I go back to it every once in a while, but I have a hard time watching more of the show because that bothered me, okay? It bothered me. Also, Charmed has some issues with being such a... For me, I don't like, super girly stuff or whatever type thing. Like, I want more things that have girl main characters just like the rest of the world complains about or whatever type thing. But I want different kind of girl main characters, or whatever. My genres are all fucked up from anime. Put things simple. That's all I've got. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying here, so I'm just gonna move on. Dark Shadows, which I recently watched almost a year ago, not quite, or whatever. I saw it on Hulu, watched through the show, then I found out there was a movie, watched the movie, love all of it, can't wait for the next season. And that show is absolutely up my alley. I like my comedy, actually. Welcome to NHK, Kingdom Hearts, Pokemon. Where is... I'll be right back. So, for my birthday, my brother got me 2 manga. There's only 2. I wish there were more, which is sad, but the creator's not going to make any more, and I want more. She made, a manga, American manga called My Pathetic Vampire Life. This shit cracks me up. I need more crap like this, okay? This is good books, and I want more, but I don't got more. I'm not going to talk about them, because we're already... Time! Maybe I'll make this into multiple parts. Just make my life easier. That way I could make this video as long as I want, because I do want to go through this whole thing. And I'll just add little sub things about what I'm talking about, In fact, we'll finish this, and then I'll end this, and we'll go to the next thing on this whole thing. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I started watching Supernatural, and that's another show that just doesn't grab me. The only reason I'm watching it is because the guy who plays Bishop from Being Human is in it. I found that out, and I was like, I gotta watch that because he's in it, and that's my favorite character in Being Human. But Supernatural, I don't know, something about it, it's just, I'll probably watch more of it anyway because it's one of my few options kind of thing, but, now, there are other things I can't think of at the moment, but, that's pretty much what I've got. There are other stuff out there, but whenever I look up, the genre or whatever, which you can't even look up the genre, you have to look up each individual thing in the genre. Vampires, werewolves, zombies, all that shit. And even then, you're gonna get very specific things when you look up those things. But there's a lot of bad shit out there. And this genre is not, much like sci-fi, people aren't putting money into it, which is something that I guess I forgot to mention in sci-fi. Anything that is an interesting concept in sci-fi, there's so much campy, there's not money being put into either of these genres, is my whole thing. Now, Okay. Now, there are things I can think of at the moment, but this is pretty much what I got. Notice that all of these, other than What We Do in the Shadows, were TV shows. The fuck are the movies? Where are the new, not older movies, the newer movies? Where are they? Why aren't they being made? Why aren't there any other than fucking Twilight? Which is still pretty recent. Where's the vampire movies? Where's the werewolf movies? Like, I know people don't think of them as scary, so don't make them scary. There's so many things that you can do with them. I mean, you look up the genre, and you get horror movies and monster thrillers. But the genre doesn't really exist in modern shit. Not to mention, when you do find it's either low budget or targeted at teen girls. I don't want to watch a show about a girl having a romance with a monster. Now, that's the funny thing, because in the romance genre, I want more shit in the romance genre. But there's also this whole category that I didn't mention, which is romance, man. I don't want romance monster stories, okay? Like, there's plenty of them. Specifically, I don't want teen girl romances, okay? I don't need the high school... I don't need Riverdale, okay? I don't want Riverdale ever, anywhere, in any... Oh my gosh. Let's talk about Riverdale for a moment. So I watched through the whole first season of Riverdale, and I think season 2. That was one of those things that I dropped off, but whenever I was initially watching it, the whole time I was like, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible show. But it's so addicting to watch. And one of the main things I hate about it is because I did grow up reading the Archie's comics, and I grew up on the show, Archie's Weird Mysteries or whatever type of thing. That was a cool show. And it's just like, these characters, what did you do? Why? You could have made a pretty good show, and you didn't. And that makes me... But it was one of those things, it was like watching a train wreck. Like, I was engrossed in it, but it was terrible. Same thing happened to me whenever I watched The Room. I'd seen many reviews of it or whatever, and they made me laugh and such. But whenever I actually sat down one day and was like, I'm gonna watch The Room, I watched through it, and I didn't laugh once. I was actually invested in the movie, and I don't know why. It's weird. Anyway, let's speed through this. We're about to hit an hour. Not to mention, when you find stuff, it's either low budget or targeted teens. Okay, I don't want to watch a show about a girl having a romance with a monster or a teenager learning to deal with being a monster while trying to have a romance. The monster genre is heavily rooted in romance, but geez, where is the shit for everyone? Just like your how I was talking about like Avengers or something, your high budget Hollywood movie for everyone, but it's about monsters and shit, Let me put it this way. Please stop. Oh, I did write that in there. Please stop making monster shows like Riverdale. So I was on the same mental path as I was. I wrote this almost a year ago, so, It's fine to make some, but I don't want to watch the genre. It's not my thing. I will never watch Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, or Vampire Diaries. No matter how much people... I have a friend that's telling me that it's a good show, and it's a guy that says it's a good show. So maybe I'll watch it, but... It's the same reason for years I didn't watch Mean Girls. Because that genre is just not for me. And then when I finally watched Mean Girls, it was like, this is a really good movie. And I had my brother watch it, and he was just like, yeah, this is a great movie. Anyway. Last thing I have to complain about is the lack of monster variety. We have vampires, werewolves, and zombies. Where are the mummies, the ghosts? They aren't like, paranormal activity shit. Alps. Get creative. When was the last time a new monster was invented? And not like, horror movie necessarily, like I said, but just create something new, All I ask is for everything. I want more. Is that so hard? That delivery was bad. Oh, the other day, I wanted to mention this show, but I didn't remember what it was called, but here it is. The other day I found a show called Blood Ties. And I was like, this seems like it's up my alley. And then the opening played. Let's turn on the opening for Blood Ties, okay? I'll add that to the end of this video, actually. That'll make things easier. Because we're near the end of this bullshit. The opening cracked me up. I watched the first episode and some of the second episode, and then just said, forget this nonsense, I can't watch it, it's dumb, it's not good. And that's that. We'll continue on this thing, the next thing.